Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. It's Friday, October the 29th, 2021, Halloween weekend. This is Wake Up with Ray G, presented by Bets TV. We had a Thursday night football game last night that did not go the way most people expected it to go. We saw some injuries, we saw some good performances, some bad performances. But Jay, how are you this morning, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I actually watched the game this morning, so it's fresh in my mind. I'm ready to talk about it. Although I think there was a two-man crew. They're pretty charismatic. They said it would probably go under. That was us, right? That was us said it would
Yeah,
probably go
yeah,
under. So I
yeah.
was pretty happy about that because we talked about how it was probably be a lot of running the ball, and Green Bay ran the ball a ton. We called
Yep.
the under. It paid off. Thank you, Green Bay, for not scoring that last touchdown. And I'm happy to be here, man. Friday, we're going to break down these games. I'm excited.
Happy Friday, Stone, Ty, Pruning. What's going on? Evan is on his way to the airport and still checking us out. Have a safe flight, my man. We appreciate the love, the support. We got a lot to get into today. Yes, Ty said it safe. Fly safe, baby. Fly safe. Love the community, man. Y'all are dope. Make sure y'all subscribe to the podcast, Wake Up with Ray G, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. Subscribe to the Best TV YouTube channel. But let's get it popping. Morning run, baby.
Wake up! This is the morning run.
Run, Forrest, run!
24-21. Green Bay took them down. They were dogs, 6.5-point dogs. Arizona, Green Bay was without Devontae Adams. They were without Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Alan Lazard, the defensive coordinator. They lost their starting tight end, and they still got the job done. And honestly, Jay, they look like the better team from start to finish with the receivers they had. Fantastic game plan. Green Bay is now 7-1 on the season. I mean, probably the quietest 7-1 team. Well, they're the only 7-1 team besides Arizona in the NFL, but just quietly great team in the NFL. They're not, Rodgers isn't playing an MVP caliber level this year. Not like he was doing last year. He's been fantastic, but he's not throwing for a ton of yards. He's just extra efficient. This defense, for all the crap that they get, they're without their best player, Jair Alexander, and they're still getting it done defensively. Just an impressive performance by Green Bay on Thursday night, and then they get much-needed rest. We still await the status of Robert Tonyan. A lot of people believe it's an ACL. That sucks big time. That's not good. He's a fun player. He's a good player, man. When they get the ball in his hands, good things happen. You could see that they were trying to make him a focal point of the game last night. But just overall initial thoughts and reactions, Jay, hell of a performance by Green Bay, man.
Yeah, the biggest thing was the defensive front got home. We weren't sure, or at least I wasn't sure, if the front would be able to get home. I figured that Arizona run the ball more, and they just didn't. The running backs, you look at their yards per carry, you watch the game, they were fine. I wouldn't say that Green Bay was selling out to stop the run by any means because you still have the pass catchers outside. But definitely it hurt that Nuke Hopkins was in and out, and he was mostly out for a lot of that game. I believe he went up limp in the second quarter, and then he's kind of, testing out on the sidelines, a bit of a hamstring injury. He came back in towards the end. Cliff Kingsbury said he put himself back in the game, which is not great.
He 100% did. He was out for like a quarter and a half. He didn't play for, I was like, it's over. Like he caught that one pass, 55 yards. It almost went for a touchdown, but he got called back for a face mask. He was out after that. And then all of a sudden, with 8 minutes left in the third quarter, not after halftime, 8 minutes left in the third, there's Deandre Hopkins catching a slant pass. It's crazy.
Yeah, so that was kind of weird because, I don't hate it. I like the competitive spirit from DeAndre Hopkins, but definitely hamstring injuries, putting yourself back in the game, it's like, D-Hop, we need you to play the full season. We can't have you get hurt. But he did hit his over because he came back in, so power to him. I didn't think he'd get there. We weren't sure where the ball would go. But the biggest thing, man, for me is just, it's all the injuries. It was weird because Kyler Murray came up limp, and he was kind of walking the tunnel a little gingerly. Like you talked about with Robert Tonyan, talking about even, there's Hopkins, and then all the guys who were already not even playing because of the COVID situation.
Kylan Hill got hurt.
Oh, yeah, the Kylan Hill injury. Oh, my God.
Dude, kickoff, I'm not even joking, bro. From the time I was in high school and when I played in college, the worst, the thing that I wanted to do the least was return kicks and be on kickoff team.
Yeah.
It is truly kamikaze style. You're just running down the field full speed into somebody, man. And at that point in time when I played, the wedge was legal. They've outlawed the wedge on the kick return now in the NFL. But that's a play that I honestly would love to see NFL, college, high school adopt, just starting from the 25-yard line, starting from the 20-yard line. Like, do away with the kickoff. It's honestly probably the most dangerous play in football, and we saw that rear its ugly head last night. Kylan Hill, knee. The other guy, he could move all his extremities, but he had to be freaking carted off, secured neck. So prayers up to both of those guys. But, yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, kickoff is dangerous. It's funny you mentioned that because I was actually the kicker back in the day. So if it ever got past them, I was like, see you later, man. I'm not tackling nobody because one time I tried to tackle someone. I got knocked out. They gave me the little smelling salts and stuff.
Kickers aren't
fun.
real football players. That's why. I
agree.
I'm not
agree.
surprised. I'm not surprised that A, you were the kicker, and B, that you didn't want any part of tackling. But continue with the Green Bay game and the injuries.
So the injuries were what they were, but the biggest story for me was A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon played exactly how I expected him to play. A.J. Dillon was dominant. He didn't bust off any big runs, but it seemed like every time they gave him the ball, he was breaking tackles. He was making guys miss in the backfield, or he was dragging them past the first down yardage marker. And that, to me, is just terrible coaching on the part of Matt LaFleur, because on that goal line stand, you have a 230-pound back, A.J. Dillon, who has been dragging guys through the line of scrimmage all game long, but yet you want to bring in your big money guy, Aaron Jones, who I believe is only like 210 pounds. He can make guys, he already showed he can push guys into the end zone, but you already got stuffed once. You got stuffed twice. Please, there is a reason why A.J. Dillon is a bigger back that can do these type of things short yardage. They use him in short yardage before. Use him on the goal line. There's nothing wrong with that. You got two backs for a reason, and I thought he played spectacular. We never actually found out what his line was, but he had like 76 yards. He actually had more yards than Aaron Jones did. Aaron Jones, of course, saw 11 targets out of the backfield and caught 7 of them. But again, when you have nobody else, you go to who you're comfortable to. So I was happy to see Aaron Jones heavily involved. We kind of expected that. Randall Cobb, 2 touchdowns. I mean, who else you can throw the ball to? We talked about him, plus 190, his anytime touchdown hit. But on the Arizona side, man, they couldn't get anything going, really. Like, it wasn't until late in the second half, like almost even the fourth quarter, that they really, really got going. Chase Edmonds made a couple plays. James Conner, of course, again, James Conner has 8 touchdowns on the season for people who don't know. So you should probably be betting his anytime touchdowns until they go negative, because they were plus 120, and he scored 2. D-Hop went over. A.J. Green went over. I think Christian Kirk went over too. The biggest thing, honestly, was Rondale Moore's fumble. It just didn't really end up costing them in the end. But if they didn't have that fumble, then I think they could have went down the field again. But it's crazy, man. Like, you look at Arizona, you say, what went wrong for them? And it just seemed like they couldn't get anything going. They were out of sync. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, but I expect them to run a lot more than they did. And they ended up losing. But, I mean, at the same time, I didn't expect them to run the table. Like, I didn't think they were legit in that way.
No one
But
did.
We'll see what happens from here. Green Bay's clearly a great opponent, and they played pretty well against them. So we'll see what happens. They lost at home. It is what it is.
Yeah, man. And back to Green Bay, I want to talk about A.J. Dillon for a minute, because I wasn't a huge fan of him coming out of Boston College in 2020. I think I had him as like RB7 in the class, RB8. I know I had Antonio Gibson over him, and the Gibson was RB6. So Dillon may have been like 7 or 8. But listen, he's getting opportunity, and he looks good. He looks pretty damn good. Like, every time he was carrying the ball, he was quick. He was making one cut, getting downhill. Just in my opinion, somebody that I would probably, and they drafted him with good draft capital. What was he, a second-round pick in 2020?
Yeah.
A.J. Dillon was a second-round pick. Jonathan Taylor was a second-round pick. DeAndre Swift was a second-round pick. J.K. Dobbins, second-round pick. Antonio Gibson, I think he was a third-rounder. But the point is, he was drafted with high draft capital, and he's performing when given opportunity. I think we continue to see more and more A.J. Dillon as the season wears on, and as we approach our trade deadline in fantasy leagues. Outside of Tony Pollard, I think he's probably the most valuable backup in the NFL. Am I wrong there, Jay?
No, I think, honestly, he's in some ways more valuable than Tony Pollard, because I think that there is a chance where he could take over the lead role. I know that Aaron Jones is the one getting paid, but Matt LaFleur really flexed his muscles when he took A.J. Dillon in the second round. So I think there is an
I don't
opportunity.
know.
They split carries last week.
I
Like, they
don't. I
split
don't.
carries last night.
I can see. I don't think he's going to take over the lead role. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think that he's going to have enough involvement on the ground game to where maybe this. And I know we continue to use this sort of comparison. Maybe it shifts into more like an Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram role, where AJ Dillon is commanding a lot of the in between the tackles carries, and then Aaron Jones is deployed in that, especially with Tanyan being down. With Tanyan being down, Aaron Jones more involved in the receiving game. He runs some more of those outside off tackles, stretch zone plays. I'm becoming more and more in on AJ Dillon, and I think when you're looking at a running back that doesn't cost you a ton that you can still go out and acquire right now, he might be a smooth move to get, not only in seasonal leagues but in dynasty leagues as well, man. I'm really feeling AJ Dillon. Aaron Rodgers, we called it his under passing yards. I think that it was set at 265, which was crazy, or 253. But on PrizePicks, it was like 265. We talked about it on the Happy Hour show yesterday. That was an easy under. Aaron Jones did not hit his over rushing yards, but he hit his over on everything receptions wise. We also called him to score a touchdown. Dillon balled out. Randall Cobb balled out. Kyler Murray. Listen, I know his rushing yards is always set at like 20, 25, 26. I don't like it, man. Can he do that? Is he capable of running for a lot of yards? But Kyler scrambles to throw. He's not like trying to run around. That was the under. We had the under on that one. James Conner touchdown was cash money. And Deandre Hopkins, he hit his over. I liked his over. He hit his over 2 receptions. And thank goodness he caught one long one because he got hurt, something to monitor moving forward. But it was a bad game for Rondale Moore, man. One of the interceptions that Kyler Murray threw backed up towards his own end zone was a tip-off of Rondale Moore's hands. Then he muffs a punt, puts Green Bay in scoring position. Even though I don't think Green Bay scored a touchdown on that one, they only ended up with the field goal. But, yeah, that was the game. And does this win knock Kyler Murray out of the driver's seat for MVP? I think so. When you can't take care of Green Bay, you don't think it does?
I don't think so.
I think it does,
and the main
man.
reason why is because I don't think that he lost them that game. I know that you didn't quite finish the rest of the game because you missed the very, very end. The reason why it was sealed, they were at like the 15-yard line. But the problem was the play before this, the refs called a first down. So Murray scrambled on like probably 2nd and 2 or 3rd and 2. Murray scrambled to the right, like he does. He runs read option scrambles. He got tackled, and the refs are just like, first down, like first down. You see where the ball is. You see where the first down marker is, and you're like, that's not a first down. And the refs just call it. They move the chains, and then quickly Arizona runs the next play, and you're like, what? Because Green Bay didn't have any challenges or anything. But then the next play after that, Kyler throws a fade to A.J. Green. A.J. Green's not even looking. He's blocking, and then Rasul Douglas picks it off in the end zone, and the game's over. Like, Kyler's on the ground. He's like, I can't believe he threw a pick because A.J. Green didn't even look at the ball. He just straight up didn't look at it. He was blocking, and Rasul Douglas caught it, and the game was over.
The thing is, they're not going to remember all of that narrative. All their, what comes out of this game is 274 yards, 2 interceptions for Kyler Murray at home against a Green Bay team that was completely decimated, without coaches, without their best player in Devontae Adams, losing their starting tight end, rolling out Amari. I mean, that's what I think it hurts his MVP odds. I think when we see an updated MVP odds after Week 8, he'll be 3rd on the list. It'll be Josh Allen, it'll be Dak Prescott or Tom Brady, and then it'll be Kyler Murray. And I talked about this. This was a game that Kyler could not lose at home against a depleted Green Bay team, and you lost. Doesn't matter how it got there. And honestly, they didn't look good. You're talking about the end of the game. They didn't look good for 3.5 quarters. I mean, you can't they didn't look ready to play in 3.5 quarters. And I think Stone said it in the comments. He was outcoached. Cliff Kingsbury was outcoached. The Packers defense. Dale, shout out to you. He got the Packers early on. I think he called this. He said this on the show. He took the Green Bay. They covered. Top dog. Dillon runs hard. Jordan Love, 1st rounder. A.J. Dillon, 2nd rounder. Remains to be seen on Jordan Love. But I'm telling y'all right now, A.J. Dillon, he's got the body size. He looks legit, man. I like me some A.J. Dillon. But look, man, we've got 5 games that we picked out that we've got to get into. And we got 20 minutes to get there. So let's go ahead and beat the rush.
Wake up! This is Beat the Rush.
Get out of the way, Jack!
All right, the first game that we're going to take a look at for this weekend, the Atlanta Falcons versus the Carolina Panthers. Look at Atlanta getting some love. They are favored by 3 points with an over-under of 47. You can get Carolina on the money line plus 143 if you believe in Sam Darnold, DJ Moore, Chuba Hubbard, Joe Brady, Matt Rule, and company. I don't know, man. The Atlanta Falcons are 3-3 against the spread on the season and 4-2 with their over/under totals, while Carolina is 3-4 against the spread, 2-5 over/under. The Carolina Panthers are still the second best defense in the NFL at limiting passing yardage at 197.1 yards per game. So are Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts going to be able to overcome this vaunted Carolina Panthers defense? I'm wondering, Jay, is Stephon Gilmore playing this week? Is Gilmore in? I don't know. Look.
That's a good question. Is he eligible? Yeah, I think that's week 8, right? He's eligible.
I thought he's eligible.
I'll look it up. Give me a second.
Yeah, look it up. Carolina, Sam Darnold, Chuba Hubbard, DJ Moore. Where else are we going? I don't know. I think that's about it. Right now, Sam Darnold, his passing number set at 239 passing yards for Sam Darnold and 1.5 touchdowns. And Top Dog says he thinks Stephon Gilmore might get some burn tonight. Or not tonight, but on Sunday. He thinks Gilmore might play, which, just adds to that great Carolina Panthers defense, man. This is a good defense, and they're playing against an offense that is starting to ascend, that is starting to find their way with Pitts, with Cordero Patterson, with Matt Ryan. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a good one. I'm interested to see. DJ Moore, Jay, has let us down with his receiving prop the last 3 weeks.
I know.
And I traded for DJ Moore in a dynasty league, and I gave up a lot to get DJ Moore, and he's done nothing since I traded for him. Carolina is in the Deshaun Watson rumors. I told you I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm listening to a lot of people talk about Carolina makes a bunch of sense. Denver makes a bunch of sense. I just would love for them to get a quarterback at some point in time because they won't be drafting high enough to draft one in 2022. But how do you feel about Sam Darnold? How do you feel about Chuba Hubbard? Plus 105 anytime touchdown score. DJ Moore's receiving yard prop is at 81.5. Let me just go to Atlanta before we'll talk about the whole game. Atlanta, Matt Ryan over under 280 yards, 280.5 yards, 2.5 touchdowns for Matt Ryan against this defense. That seems a little bullish. Kyle Pitts over under 61.5 receiving yards. Hey, Evan, trade me back my Kyle Pitts that I traded you. You can have Mahomes back, man. Give me Kyle Pitts back. Kyle Pitts over under 4.5 receptions. God, give me the over is juiced down to minus 130. But plus 150 anytime touchdown for Kyle Pitts. And then Calvin Ridley, your boy, Calvin Ridley, Jay, who has been a disappointment this season. Coming off of a 4 for 20 game last week. His over-under set at 73.5 and plus 125 for an anytime touchdown score. Do you like anybody in this game, Jordan? Because I think there's some value to be had in this one.
So I do like Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts is just too big, too strong, too fast. We saw it last week. I think we're going to see it again this week that he's going to get targets. He's going to get yards. The one guy I can't make sense of right now is Calvin Ridley. People who don't know, Calvin Ridley, he hates the Panthers. He hates them with a burning passion. And if you don't know why, it's because that bad man on the other side of the field, DJ Moore, got drafted ahead of him. And he wanted to be the wide receiver 1 in that class, in the 2018 class, and he wasn't. It was DJ Moore. The Carolina Panthers took DJ Moore over Calvin Ridley, and Calvin Ridley has been making them pay ever since. Since 2019, he's averaging almost 100 yards a game against the Panthers. He has 5 career touchdowns against them in 6 games. So it makes me want to go after Calvin Ridley because history tells me he still hates them with a burning passion. Matt Ryan knows it. Ridley plays up against the Panthers every single time. You can go back and watch the tape. But he's just been so bad. He's just been so bad, so disappointing, not getting enough targets, not seeing enough work. I just don't get. Top Dog, you watch the games, his rookie season, I'm pretty sure he had 150-2 in Carolina. So let's just pump the brakes. I know you're a Carolina fan. Chuba is interesting though, because even though Atlanta's defense is middle of the pack, I still think that Chuba can actually exploit this defense fairly easily. And I do think they're going to try and protect Sam Darnold. I want to take Sam Darnold under 240 because I just think that he played so bad last week, got benched. They just have to try and protect him. And Chuba's the only way they're going to be able to do that. So I think I'm in on Pitts. I think I'm in on Ridley for the yards for both.
Oof.
I'm with you on the I can't quit it, man. I got to stick with Ridley on this one. It's
Oof.
just the matchup. But I'm in on Pitt's
The
yards. I'm in on
matchup,
Pitt's
they're
receptions
averaging,
at 4.5.
they're only giving up 197 passing yards a game. The
Hey,
matchup
that's
isn't
the,
good.
but I'm saying I'm not saying that's the matchup against the rest of the league. That's not the matchup against Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley plays them a little different. But I like Sam Darnold under on his yardage, and I think I'm willing to go over on Chuba at 64.5. Hesitant, but I think he can do it. I think he can bust a big run against Atlanta.
I'm bullish on Chuba, but to Dale's point, I'm telling you, if his receiving yard numbers at 16.5, I love that for Chuba Hubbard. I mean, he's hit that in his, he's played 5. He's hit that in 3 of 5 games, 33, 27, and last week 4 for 28. I don't think they want Sam Darnold to rip it deep. I do think that's going to hurt DJ Moore to a certain degree and only potentially help Chuba Hubbard. I love that line for Chuba Hubbard. If it's at 16.5 receiving yards, Dale, I'm with you on that, brother. Our man Hunter, what's up, Hunter? We did the college stuff yesterday. Hunter said he thinks the Panthers lock up Atlanta easily. I don't know. I'm still in on Kyle Pitts.
Nah.
I like over his yards and over his reception totals. Matt Ryan, 280.5, probably would lean the under.
I think it's a little high.
Yeah, I'd lean the under because I'm not all the way in on Calvin Ridley. And right now, it looks like Calvin Ridley is second in the pecking order to Kyle Pitts. So that's just where I'd be at. And Bruning asked an interesting question. If you're the Panthers, do you trade for Tua if the Dolphins get Watson?
Is that an upgrade is the question.
Yes, it is an upgrade. Man, a lot of people are giving Tua shit. I think he's fine. I really do. I think majority of this, I heard some people talking about it's the fact that Tua's not on the field. He's been injured. But ultimately, I think it's Justin Herbert remorse. I really believe that's the case. It's Justin Herbert remorse. And this is the first time, like in NFL history, that a 26-year-old franchise quarterback has become available. So they're trying to do their due diligence. But my question is, what's the market for Tua? Because the whole thing is predicated on Deshaun Watson. Like, that's why they want to trade Tua to get Deshaun Watson. Or the reports are they want to trade Tua to get Deshaun Watson. If they don't get Watson, right? What would the Panthers have to give up in order to get Tua? They already traded a second rounder for Sam Darnold. Like, think about how bad Carolina fumbled the past 2 seasons. They trade Teddy Bridgewater for a 6th rounder to Denver. They trade a 2nd rounder to the Jets to get Sam Darnold. Teddy Bridgewater's better than Sam Darnold, and you give up a 2nd round pick to get a guy that you're not going to extend. Just a colossal F up by Carolina in every way. Because right now, I guarantee you, Carolina is a better football team with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback than they are Sam Darnold, and they still have their 2nd round pick in 2020. Like, they don't even have it. They traded it for a player that they will not extend long term. Sam Darnold will not get a long-term extension. They just a colossal failure by whoever's running that organization to give up Bridgewater for a 6th and then trade a 2nd to get Sam Darnold. Just terrible, man. Terrible. All right, next game. So we're in on Pitts. We think Matt Ryan probably the under. We like Chuba Hubbard's receiving line. Still kind of, you're bullish on DJ Moore. I'm still a little.
No, I can't. Okay. 81.5 is too many for me, especially if Sam Darnold's playing quarterback. I just don't like it.
They gave up a 2nd, a 4th, and a 6th rounder for Sam Darnold.
Whoa. No, thank you. Man, no, sir.
Dudes,
I can't do that.
Them dudes are playing Dynasty with NFL money, man. That's crazy. Crazy. All right, let's go. Colts. Tight. Wow, man. Just wow. A.J. Brown, Michael Pittman. Indy, man. Indy, quiet Giants, man. They're playing good football. Carson Wentz is playing good football. JT's playing like the 2nd best back in the league. Pittman is balling. They're playing really good football, and they're favored by 1.5 with an over-under of 50.5. Michael Pittman, A.J. Brown, Carson Wentz, Derrick Henry, Julio Jones. Where are we going in this matchup? Tennessee is 5-2 against the spread on the season and 4-3 with their over/under totals, while the Colts are 5-2 as well, and they are 4-3. So this game may hit the over, man. They hit the over in a damn monsoon versus the San Francisco 49ers last Sunday. Indianapolis has been decent against the run, allowing 111 yards per game on the ground. You've got Ryan Tannehill coming in at 245.5 passing yards, 1.5 touchdowns. Anytime TD for Air Tanny, plus 375. The King, back over-under at 103.5 yards. Since 2019, Derrick Henry averages 125 against the Colts, which is why we are inclined to take the over, although we did see Kansas City sell out to hold him under 100 yards, and we saw what that got them, a big fat L. A.J. Brown starting to get his sea legs back, 68.5 receiving yards. He's had 9 targets in each of the last 2 games, racking up 91 yards against Buffalo, and then he dropped a bomb on KC, 133. A.J. Brown is back, and he should be good to go in this one as Julio Jones nurses a hamstring. He's always got a hamstring injury.
Yep.
The Colts, Carson Wentz, 245 passing yards is his over-under total in this matchup. One interception. Will Carson Wentz throw a pick? He's actually protected the ball quite well this season, and he's 450 for an anytime TD. JT, rushing prop at 68.5 yards. Thank you. I'll take the over on that and the over on his receiving yards at 15.5 receiving yards. Michael Pittman Jr., 62.5 receiving yards. For him, where you at, Jay? Do you like anybody in this game? I think I like a lot of props in this one, man.
I honestly think I like every single over on the entire board. Every single one you read off. Ryan Tannehill, 245.5. I think that's pretty close. 1.5 touchdowns I'm iffy on. I would probably be willing to bet the anytime touchdown at 375. You hit it last week and it was plus 420. Henry, over 103.5. I think he can do that. Like I mentioned, 125 yards against Indy since 2019. Of course, he plays them twice a year, so they're familiar with him, but he's still doing it anyways. A.J. Brown, going way over on these numbers since he's been back healthy. Carson Wentz been bombing it deep. He's got 300-yard games, 400-yard games. The crazy thing is last week, that stupid fumble that he threw into that guy's hands, it was actually called a fumble because he lost control of it. So that prop didn't hit. But I still think Wentz at even money to throw a pick is a good value. I'm always willing to take quarterbacks at even money to throw a pick. He's plus 100. 450 anytime TD. We know that Wentz and JT or Hines will run the read option on the goal line, and Wentz will pull it. He kind of has that Taysom Hill type of vibe, and he always wants to dive into the end zone. JT, like you said, 68.5 rushing yards. Although the one thing that was concerning for me, and I'm curious if you noticed this as well, is that he doesn't get a lot of carries for some reason.
Yeah,
like his over-under for carries was 15.5, and I was like, what? It should easily be 18.5, 19.5. And that's why I'm just like, is 68.5 is it too much, knowing that bookmakers only think he's going to get like 15 carries? I just don't know, because if they have to bomb it deep like we're kind of expecting them to do, what does that mean for JT? And would I rather go after his 15.5 receiving yards, because he can pretty much hit that on one play. As long as he gets one good screenplay, he's probably getting 15.5. Yeah. So I like that. And then Pittman's just get his longest reception every week, because he's catching a bomb almost every single week. And I do like the 62.5. Yeah. Yeah, man, you were on him early. I was never really a big fan of his. I just don't like jump ball receivers, but he tracks the ball so well. He's getting up over guys. He's stacking DBs. He's doing everything he has to do to succeed in the NFL, and he's doing it every single week. So I'm in on it, man. I think that you were on him early, and you'll be proven right every single week. Last week in a monsoon, he caught a bomb touchdown. That picture we use is actually from that game when he's in the end zone flexing when he scored that kind of game-sealing touchdown. But yeah, Michael Pittman is legit. He's playing like we've mentioned, I think this is the third time we mentioned it, 14th in the NFL in receiving yards, and he's playing like it every week. That's why I like all these overs. 245 for both these quarterbacks is way too light. Remember, they are playing in Indy, so it's in a dome, conducive to more points, good conditions, but I still like Wentz to throw a pick, because you never know with Wentz. He may just throw one crazy bomb.
Yeah, you
Carson
never know
Wentz is crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Listen, Michael Pittman, I keep saying it. We keep looking for these second-year wide receiver breakouts. Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs. We're talking about T. Higgins all the time. Jalen Reagor. We're talking about all these receivers from 2020, and no one's talking about Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman is having a second-year breakout. He's pacing for over 1,000 receiving yards on the season. I'm in on him now. His receiving line at 62.5 seems a little bullish, but Tennessee is down. Their rookie cornerback out of VTech, Caleb Farley's down. They don't do a great job defending the pass. They did a fantastic job against Kansas City last week. Maybe they turned a corner. But the Colts are just this quiet team that they're playing really, really good football. And we talk about how both teams are against the spread, how they are with the over-unders. I'm with you. I like the over on Ryan Tannehill and the over on Carson Wentz at 245. I know Dale said he'll take those Wentz yards. I think he got it at 242, which is, I love that even more. Derrick Henry, 103.5. He should get there. You're seeing a lot of teams sell out to stop the run. Like you're seeing, if I were going to take the over on, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, I may be inclined to take the under on Derrick Henry, but you never take the under on Derrick Henry, so I may not bet it. I would just bet him to score. You know what? It would actually be a decent bet if you can look up the odds. Derrick Henry to score 2. Just see what that is, Jay Rich, for him to score 2 touchdowns.
They're not good enough.
They're not good enough. Just check. I just
want
to see.
250.
Yeah,
that's stupid. He's minus 250 to score 1 touchdown.
Yeah,
which
plus
is
250.
just like, come on.
Yeah, I like JT's receiving yard numbers a lot, 15.5. And to your point about him getting the work, I know we like to point to the incompetence of Frank Wright. Why is he not getting 20 carries? Why is he not getting 25 carries a game? Maybe they're just trying to keep him fresh, man. Maybe because it's a longer season, they are in the hunt. I mean, they look like a playoff team. Just maybe they're like, why wear his ass down now? For what? What reason does it serve us if we're winning football games? We have Marlon Mack. We've got Naheem Hines. Why give him? And I know it's frustrating for us in fantasy because we see how good he is. We see how dynamic and effective he is. But from a team perspective, they're thinking we got 17 regular season games and then another 3 or 4 if we want to make it all the way. Maybe they just want to keep JT fresh, man. And if that's the case, you can't knock the coaching staff for doing that. It's just you have to adjust. We have to adjust in fantasy football. And I think that provides some opportunity to even get some sneaky yardage. Like, I don't know if Marlon Mack has a line, but what if Marlon Mack's rushing yard total is set at 15.5 rushing yards? Like, maybe it just provides us some opportunity to take advantage of some other players and some other lines. That's just fantasy. Fantasy is not for real. Like, they don't like that. That doesn't matter. Like, if I'm a team, I'm not giving Jonathan Taylor Alvin Kamara type workload in week 5 of the NFL season when we're a playoff team and I'm going to need him later on. So just a thought. Anything else from this game, Jay?
No, I think I'm good on it. To answer Dale's question though, his rushing and receiving that I'm seeing is at 120 yards. Again, it's fine, but I don't know. I don't hate it, don't love it. Because he can always break a problem is he can break a reception for 70 yards the same way he can break a run for 70 yards. So it's kind of like I don't necessarily want to play that game. He's always got the game-breaking ability no matter how he gets the ball. And that's why I prefer to just take the rushing yards if I go the under or the over. Usually don't go the under because, again, that big playability just scares the hell out of me.
It scares the hell out of me, too. Like, somebody like that scares me because it really literally only takes one. For Derrick Henry.
Happened against Buffalo, right?
And
Buffalo was one play, and it was over.
It's not an outlier either. Like, it's very realistic chance that he just busts one for 50, 60 yards, and then that's it. You know what I mean? But kudos to you for hitting the under last week. I mean, good job. Good call by you, Dale. All right, let's go. Let's talk about the 2 golden kids, man. The 2 golden childs, the Pats and the Chargers. Mac Jones and Justin Herbert. Jay, there was an interesting let me pull this up because I will get my credit here. I will demand.
Oh boy. Are you pulling receipts right now?
My respect for one Mac Jones. I demand it, damn it. Mac Jones.
All right, so okay, go. You have found your stat now?
All right. Against all the rookie quarterbacks, first in passing yards, first in touchdowns, first in completions, first in completion percentage, first in touchdowns, tied for first in interceptions, first in yards per attempt, first in QBR, first in on-target percentage, least bad throws. He's the most blitzed, most hit, and has the least time to throw of any quarterback. That is one Mac McCorkle Jones, the best rookie quarterback from the 2022 class. Justin Fields, no sir. Trey Lance, nope. Trevor Lawrence, no way. Zach Wilson, it's laughable. Kellen Mond and Kyle Trask, get the hell out of here. Mac Daddy Jones, balling in the NFL. Top 10 in yards, top 10 in completion percentage amongst all NFL quarterbacks. The young man can play. I told you. I told you. I told you. Ah, damn it. I told you, Jay. I will demand my respect every single week for one Mac Jones. He's a damn beast, man. The kid is good, and he's doing it throwing to Nelson Aguilar and Hunter Henry as his top targets. Now, as we go into this game, New England 3-4 against the spread, 3-4 over/under, while the Chargers are 4-2 against the spread and 1-5, 1 for 5 in the over/under department. The New England Patriots are 6th in the NFL in terms of points per game allowed, only giving up 20, but averaging 24.5 points per game allowed in non-Jets games. So there you go. When they play the Jets, they hold their opposing team to quite a few
what's
points.
crazy about that is that when you just take out those Jets games, which yes, we're cherry picking stats here, but that drops them all the way from like 6th in the NFL to I think like 20th or something, because average in the NFL right now is about 23 points per game. So if they get to that 24.5 mark, it's like all the way down to 20th. So I was just curious because, they play the Jets twice. Like, it's not like they only played them once. They played them twice. I think they only allowed 19 points in the two games combined. And obviously they put up 54 against them last week. So we'll see.
Let's make this
the Pats
big.
Defense is
Let's make this on the whole screen. Yeah, give me my damn
Oh
flowers.
my God. Ray and his Mac Jones call. I'm never gonna hear the end of it. Never gonna hear the end of it.
You won't. Sorry. Yeah, the Patriots are they don't play well versus other teams other than the Jets, but the Chargers are the worst team in football, allowing 162 yards per game on the ground. Oof. Damian Harris. Hey, Damian Harris, when he's on the field, he looks pretty damn good, and he's looked really good the past couple of weeks. The Chargers are also 4th in passing yards allowed per game. So they take away the pass. They give up gaping holes on the ground. Austin Eckler didn't practice yesterday. Hip injury. There's always something wrong with Austin Eckler. There's always something wrong with Austin Eckler.
He has lines out there too, which is crazy.
It's always something wrong with Austin Eckler.
If you wanted to go after his rushing line, it's like over 50 yards. So if he's got a hip injury, I'm like, can I get some of that action? How is he going to get 54 yards with a hip injury?
It's hard to predict like how injured these guys are. Deandre Hopkins had an injury, and then he goes out there and catches a 70-yard touchdown catch. I don't know, man. I don't know. Austin Eckler hasn't been favorable to me when I bet him, especially on the ground. It hasn't worked out well. But Justin Herbert, his passing yard total is set at 291.5 passing yards. Keenan Allen, 66.5. I really like Keenan Allen, especially with Mike Williams still injured, still kind of not all the way 100%, even out of a bye. And there's nothing out for Mac Jones right now, which is interesting. I think there's something
nothing for Mac Jones or Damian Harris. Damian Harris I saw was plus 125 to score a touchdown, but no yardage, and I want to go after it. It's like I talked about with AJ Dillon. The matchup was just really, really good. And same thing with Damian Harris. Every week, go after whoever the hell is against the Chargers, because they are just god awful against the run. Maybe they fixed it over the bye. I don't know, but I think the Pats will run on them, and they're going to have a lot of success. Damian Harris has been pretty good. He's fumbled in some bad spots, and, he's still got the workload, so I'm not really worried about him getting the carries. And it's just a great spot. So whenever those lines come out for Damian Harris, check out what they are.
Okay.
I think they'll probably be in the 60s, and I'll be willing to hit it.
All right, so Prize Picks, they do have a line for Mac Jones. It's 250.5. 250.5 for Mac Jones. What do you think about that?
Seems a little high. The Chargers do have the 4th best passing defense in the NFL. I believe they only allow like 201 yards a game. We know Asante Samuel is good for a pick probably every 3 games or so. Dude's playing lights out. Derwin James is flying all over the field. I don't love it, but I think to your point, that may just be one of the ways they stay in it. I'm hoping they run the ball personally. I'm hoping they just play that ball control style. If the Chargers can't stop them on the ground, they don't need Mac to throw the ball. They'll just bully them down the field, slow, methodical like we've seen from Mac this season. But 250 seems like more than I'd be willing to bet, which is really the only issue. I think he can get there.
I think he could. I think they're starting to get more and more confidence in him. And he made a throw last week down the sideline to Kendrick Bourne. It would have been like a 40-something yard touchdown. Bourne got tackled at the 1-yard line. But he's starting to unleash it a little bit more. And they also have Justin Herbert at 287.5, so a little bit less than the books, which makes that even more attractive. What are you thinking about Justin Herbert and his passing yards?
Oh man, that's tough. I would probably bet the under. I probably would, honestly. I think that depending on what happens, this will be. I honestly, especially with Austin Eckler being out, I think I would probably lean towards the under.
Well, we
in this
don't
game.
know. We don't know if Eckler's out. I think he's going to play. I think when Sunday pops up, Austin Eckler's going to be on the field. Austin Eckler's going to be playing. They got his receiving yard totals at 36. I was going to say 360. 36.5 for Austin Eckler receiving yards. Mike Williams, 73.5. So even higher than Keenan Allen. And on Prize Picks, it's the same as the books, 65.5. Jared Cook, 31.5 for him. This is, for me, man, this is just going to be, I'm excited to watch this game. I want to see these two young quarterbacks go at it. I hope it's a battle of the quarterbacks. Look, Mac Jones is going to have to get the ball out quick. Joey Bosa, Derwin James presents a ton of problems for New England and that offense. But I think this is going to be a good matchup. The Chargers are favored by 5. I don't know. And is this game in New England? Is this game in New England, or is it in
No, it's in Los Angeles. It's in LA. So the Patriots do have to travel to LA for this game. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, though. I don't really know how I feel about the spread, but I know that Herbert got destroyed last year in New England. It was not pretty for him. I believe didn't they lose like 40-0 or something? And on top of that, the Chargers are also 1-5 to the over. So they've been hitting unders like crazy. The only time they hit the over was the big game against Cleveland. The rest of the games have all gone under. And I think, the Patriots defense is going to play well in this game. I think we're going to see a lot of running from the Patriots. I think the Chargers are going to have to kind of move the ball methodically. It's going to be tough for Herbert out there. Belichick knows how to play him, clearly. He played him well last year. I think he'll play him well this year too. Even though they got to travel far, I think I'm leaning towards the under in this game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. Mac's going to keep him in it. I don't know who's going to win. I think Herbert will probably pull it out, but it'll be a close game for sure.
This is going to be an interesting one. I think I'm going to call for the upset, man. Coming off of the bye, Austin Eckler a little bit gimpy. Mike Williams still a little bit gimpy. I think I'm calling for the upset, man. I like New England in this matchup. I think New England on the road finds a way to keep it close, and they find a way to win this matchup with LA coming off of the bye with a couple of those injuries to key players. I think I like New England in this matchup, man. So I'm going to roll with the young gun Mac Jones. I'm going to roll with Bill Belichick as New England really is trying to figure out their way to see if they can push for a wild card berth in the AFC. Now we've got Tampa Bay, Tom Brady just doing his thing. I mean, Tom Brady hustling people for a 600 touchdown pass, talking shit about defensive players on Monday Night Football, saying they are like dogs chasing cars, playing, arguably some of the best football of his career at age 60. Tom Brady is just the GOAT, man. And now they go up against the Saints and the matchup that we're all looking forward to. You know what it is, Jay? You know what we're looking towards seeing in this matchup? What's the best storyline in this matchup?
Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore. Because they hate each other.
Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore.
But to be fair, Marshawn Lattimore gives him the business, though.
Yes, he does.
I'd probably say 4 of their 6 matchups at least. There's games where he puts up bagels against Marshawn Lattimore. And it's funny because I was obviously looking at his over-under because now we know the AB's out. He's on crutches.
He's out.
Gronk, although limited
Gronk
practice.
is in.
Vontae David also limited practice. So both of them probably going to play is big. I'm curious if we see some Mark Ingram this week. I don't really know what to expect. I'm sure he can just hop into the system, right?
Yeah.
Mike Evans, man. Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore. I'm telling you guys, you have to look out for this matchup because they fight on every play.
It's coming off of Marshawn Lattimore and DK Metcalf going all out. They were going fisticuffs the entire Monday night game.
Can we please talk about how Marshawn just needs to chill a little bit? Like Mike Evans, you could probably take Mike Evans, and we've seen them fight, but DK is kind of like, Come on,
I
bro.
don't know,
Like,
man.
look at
Hey,
you.
I'm a cornerback too. I'm not gonna let you punk me and do
I'm
stuff
not
like
saying
that.
I'm
No.
not saying. But see, here the problem for me is that Marshawn versus DK looked a lot like Colton Finnegan versus Andre Johnson, compared to Marshawn versus Mike Evans. I'm like, okay, I could see it. There's a little bit more
No, I
fight
mean
here.
Mike Evans is bigger than DK Metcalf, man. He's bigger than DK. He's bigger than DK.
Not bigger than
Well,
DK.
the point
though,
is,
you know what I'm saying?
that's the matchup that we want to see. I want to see Mike Evans. I want to see Marshawn Lattimore go at it. You know, all the memes with Marshawn Lattimore carrying a child, and it's got Mike Evans' face superimposed on the kid. But that's going to be an interesting game inside the game. Tampa Bay is 3-4 on the season against the spread and 4-3 against the over and under, while the Saints are 3-3 on the against the spread and 2-4 with the over under. The Saints are the second best team in the NFL in points per game allowed, only allowing 16.8 points per game. This defense is good. Cam Jordan, the linebacker, I think it's Davis.
Demario Davis, yeah, he had 2 sacks last week, and Marcus Davenport when he's actually healthy.
Yeah,
Disgusting.
when Davenport's playing, Davis was filling holes last week versus Seattle. I mean, they interviewed him post game because he just played an incredible game. Marshawn Lattimore on the outside, Malcolm Jenkins still in the secondary. This New Orleans defense is good. Is it a revenge game for Jameis Winston? Revenge game for Winston means, I'm just telling you now, if he's got a line out for an interception, take it. He will YOLO a ball to Tampa Bay. I can assure you of that. Tampa Bay's getting healthier. Like you said, Levante David potentially going to play in this matchup. We know the front seven are dynamic. And then offensively, the ground game with Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones starting to work back into that lineup. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin, I think, is the beneficiary of the Lattimore-Evans battle because
hell yeah.
I promise you Marshawn will shadow Mike Evans. Unless Sean Payton's like, look, we need you on the field. We don't need you getting into crap with Mike Evans. Let's put you on Chris Godwin. But I think it's going to be Marshawn Lattimore versus Mike Evans.
I was going to say, you think he'd take that? You think he'd be like, yeah, coach, no problem. He'd be like, hell no. He would shadow him in the slot. He would shadow him outside. He'd shadow him in the backfield if he could. I'm telling you, man, it's the one match. It's probably my favorite matchup as far as wide receiver cornerbacks go because they just hate each other.
Yeah, they do.
And I remember week 1 when the Saints actually beat the Bucs last year, Tom Brady's first game. I'm pretty sure Mike Evans, that was the game where Mike Evans wasn't running the right routes and he was getting into fights with Marshawn Lattimore. I'm telling you, it's going to be good. But to your point about Jameis Winston, minus 180 on the over to throw a pick. So, I mean, you could take it, but the juice is not worth the squeeze.
Yeah, the juice
255
isn't worth the squeeze.
and a half for the over-under on the passing yards. But people, Chris Godwin, 75 and a half receiving yards. Take that shit because he's going to get a lot of targets. He led the team in receiving last week too. Even though Mike Evans scored 3 touchdowns, he led the team in receiving. Alvin Kamara, 62 and a half rushing yards. Take the under. There is no way in hell he's getting 62 and a half rushing yards. He didn't even get that against Seattle. So how the hell is he going to do that against the league's best rushing defense? Especially if Mark Ingram comes in, he's going to get more of the rushing work and take some of those carries away. Kamara's going to be great through the air, but I do not expect him to do a whole lot on the ground. We'll see what happens, but 62 and a half is a lot even for Kamara against the league's best rushing defense.
Y'all are just tearing up my boy Mike Evans. I'm talking
it's
about.
It's true though.
Daryl said he's got a dad bod. I'm just saying, muscles don't mean you can fight.
You've
though.
seen
muscles
the picture, man.
Muscles. Have we not learned anything from Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder? Have we not learned anything? Tyson Fury.
But he's a trained boxer.
This is
what he studied his whole life for. Mike Evans is a wide receiver.
What the fuck is DK Metcalf? Is he a trained fighter? The point is, muscles
they
don't
do the same
mean you
thing,
can
though.
fight. Shush. Listen. What I'm telling
I forgot
you is
you're a boxing instructor on the weekends.
No, but I have fought more than you probably, and muscles have no bearing on your ability to throw them things. That's what I'm telling you. So whatever DK Metcalf looks like has no bearing on what them hands is talking about, and that's what I'm saying. Tyson Fury has the daddest bod of all dad bods and can throw them damn things. So all I'm saying is, don't you sleep on Mike Evans. Mike Evans, go peep his background. I'm not putting Mike Evans past throwing them things. That's what I'm talking about. But back to the damn game. Back to the game. Tom Brady, 311 passing yards. You think both quarterbacks are going to air it out in this one, right? But because both of these defenses are really good versus the run. But versus the pass, man, do you think Tom Brady continues his MVP ascension in this matchup, in division opponent versus New Orleans?
I think so, yeah. I think that there's a really good chance. I don't love the number because it's so high, and I know this game is going to be super high energy. I know we didn't mention it, but it is in the Superdome, so it is on the road.
Oh, okay, on the road.
The Bucks did lose in the Superdome last year. Obviously Drew Brees played, and they lost pretty badly, but it was Tom Brady's first game, so I'm not going to put too much stock into it. Tom Brady's playing way better now than he did back then, but again, it's like, how do I fit? Because I think the X factor is Mike Evans. If Mike Evans doesn't hit that 69.5, I'm not sure how Tom Brady gets to 311 unless Godwin goes off for like 150, 200. I'm telling you, man, you guys got to like trust me here. You guys got to trust me. Ray's yelling at me, telling me I've never fought anybody before. You don't know my background. You don't know the white picket fence I lived behind. You don't know how privileged I am. I may have taken private boxing lessons with a professional boxer. I could have been with George St. Pierre on the weekends, just flown up to Montreal, trained with him.
All right. I need time to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys, I'm done.
I want some good stats here. Let's go,
All
Dallas.
Right, let's go, Dallas. Vikings versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys, Lindsay said, oh, man, I'm losing it. Cowboys travel to Minnesota. This game is on the road. Dallas coming off of a bye. Minnesota, oh, my gosh, favored by 2.5. Which I'm telling you, Jay, it's not a foregone conclusion that Dak is going to play. Jerry Jones said it's a non-issue. He's not worried about it. He was seen at a Stars game without the boot, but I don't know if Dak is going to play. All they keep saying is if he's not 100%, they're not going to rush him out there. Over under 53.5. You can get Dallas on the money line plus 113. That's not a lot of juice there. But we are on Dak watch. The Cowboys are 6-0 against the spread on the season. The only undefeated team against the spread on the season. They are covering, baby, whether they're favorites or dogs. They are 5-1 with their over-under totals. Dallas is a good bet to put up points. That's what that is telling me. And the Vikings are 3-3 against the spread, 3-3 with their over-under. Minnesota, they're allowing 128 rushing yards per game. And Dallas got back La'el Collins. And I guarantee we're going to see packages with Collins on the field with Terrence Steele and Connor Williams. This running game is poised to go off versus Minnesota. The Cowboys, on the other hand, even though we've got the defensive MVP on our side of the field, we're still giving up damn near 300 passing yards a game. Not good. Not good when you have to face off against Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Kirk Cousins always finds a way to cook the Cowboys at some point in time, whether it's with the football team or with the Vikings. Both teams are top 5 in yards per game. Dallas is averaging 460 yards per game, playing like the Ohio State Buckeyes, and the Minnesota Vikings are averaging 414 yards per game. Where are you at in this matchup? Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard, Dalvin Cook, there are so many props that you can play with and build. Like you can literally do a parlay of just pass catchers. You can go Schultz over receptions, CeeDee Lamb to score a touchdown, Justin Jefferson over receptions, Adam Thielen over yards. Like there's a 4-leg parlay on just the pass catching weapons. And we didn't talk about Amari Cooper. We didn't talk about Jack Conklin. We didn't talk about Dalvin Cook. Rushing yards, you can go Zeke over, Tony Pollard over, maybe Dalvin Cook over. I mean, there are so many things you can bet in this one. Just pick what you like. Like, it's just literally like choose your own adventure in this matchup. I do think if Dak plays, the fact that Dallas are 2.5-point dogs on the road, if Dak is playing, I'd love Dallas to cover the spread. If Dak does not play, I would not touch Dallas. If it's Cooper Rush starting at quarterback, I want nothing to do with the Cowboys this week. And quite frankly, I wouldn't care if we lost. Get Dak healthy. Like, get Dak healthy. That's all that matters in this one. You don't want him to re-injure that foot. You don't want him to re-injure anything that's going on with the calf, whatever it is. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Oh, I love it, man. This is going to be probably my favorite game of the week. I believe it's a Sunday night matchup as well, so that'll be lots of fun. It is a
Sunday night matchup, yep.
Lots of points. As long as Dak plays, that'd be great. I'm super pumped for it. Biggest stat for me is always Justin Jefferson playing indoors. When he plays indoors, he averages over 100 yards a game and 0.75 touchdowns. This game's in Minnesota. It's indoors, so Justin Jefferson's going to have 100 yards. He's probably going to cook up Trayvon Diggs. I'm sure they went at each other at least once. What do you mean, whoa? Would you be shocked? The other prop I like is I do like Adam Thielen to score a touchdown. Adam Thielen plays a lot better at home, and I don't know what a touchdown prop is. I'll look at it right
I'll
now.
look it up.
It's plus 105 to score a touchdown. So Adam Thielen at plus money, he still has like a 30% target share in the red zone. If you want to go Justin Jefferson to score a touchdown as well, I like it. Justin Jefferson's over-under is 87.5. But I'm telling you, he could get that in one half because that's just how good Justin Jefferson is. Zeke's number, I believe, is 74.5 rushing yards. That's an easy number I like. Dalvin Cook, I'm iffy because, he's been in and out of the lineup, man. Like, I don't know if he's healthy, if he's not healthy.
Well, he had a week off. I think he's gonna be good. He had a week off. I'll tell you who I like. Dalton Schultz plus 240 to get in the end zone. I like Dalton Schultz. I think that's a good price to get Dalton Schultz to score a touchdown. No other lines on Schultz right now. Amari Cooper is playing. I saw a picture of him looking just swole as all outdoors. He's plus 135 to score a touchdown. I like Dalvin Cook in this matchup. I love my Cowboys, but we can give up some yards on the ground. We're giving up damn near 300 through the air. One of the questions Evan asked is Diggs going to travel with Justin Jefferson? Doubtful. I doubt it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I doubt he will. But I don't think he – if you try to take away Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen will gas you on the other side. So I think Diggs is going to stay on the side. He's comfortable playing over there. We'll see, though. We will see if he sticks with Justin Jefferson. I just don't think they're going to do that. This is just a very intriguing matchup, and it really comes down to Dak Prescott. Does Dak Prescott play? The way that I would handle this is I probably would not bet anything on this game until like after the late slate. Like I need to know if Dak's playing or not. And maybe the lines change a little bit. Maybe some of the players get juiced. They will move.
Bro, they will move a lot. If Dak is healthy, they should be favored. Like if Dak is starting, I think it moves all the way to a pick'em or very close to it. The only reason why they're 3-point dogs is because they don't know about Dak. And I like the over if Dak plays too.
Well, then what I would do is I'd tease Dallas and give him more points. I'd tease Dallas, give him more points in the anticipation that Dak does play. But player prop wise, I'm not touching him because whatever Amari Cooper set at, whatever CeeDee Lamb is set at, if it's Cooper Rush, it's not going to happen. It will not happen. It will not happen. I have zero confidence and faith. And Zeke Elliott in practice yesterday said Cooper Kupp looked great, and he's got all the confidence in the world in him. Not Cooper Kupp, Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush. Cooper Kupp does look good. You're right.
Cooper Kupp does look good. He
probably could play quarterback.
Yeah, he probably could. But I would wait until the 3 p.m. games, 4 p.m. games are like damn near over before I bet on this one because you don't know what they're going to do. We don't know how his calf is going to react, how it's going to feel. And if he doesn't play, Dallas has no shot to win this matchup. All right, Jay, real quick. I know we didn't touch all the slate. I kind of like doing our Power 5, but what player props are you focusing on outside of the games that we discussed? For me, I'll just throw it out there. Jamar Chase, I'm just staying in the flames. And we've seen his line already move a ton. Just going higher and higher. I think on Prize Picks right now, he's set at like 88.5 receiving yards for Jamar Chase.
You can get it on DraftKings at 75.5, which is super low.
That's what I'm saying. They're moving all over the place, man. Because right now I'm looking at it. He's 88.5 on the picks, on the double P. What do you think about Devonta Smith? Are you in on any of the on the Lions players? Is there any other players that you're looking at targeting this weekend?
So the one that I still really like is Deandre Swift's receiving yards. They're going up a little bit because, again, he had 100 yards last week. So I really like that number. And then on the back end, I do like Devonta Smith. I think that he's going to get a lot more work against the Lions. I think it'll be a closer game than people think it will be. I actually do think the Lions have a shot of winning this game. But we saw it last week. I think we saw a winning formula from the Lions that they continue this week. It's getting the ball to Jamal Williams, getting the ball to DeAndre Swift. And I'm curious what we see from Khalif Raymond because we didn't really talk about him last week at all. But he had 115 yards, and a lot of it was on one big play. So I'm curious to see how his involvement is in this game because we know Philly's not the best defense. They're an okay pass defense. They're actually a pretty good
They're really
pass
good.
defense.
They're a good pass defense. Bad rushing
But Khalif
defense.
Raymond isn't going to see Darius Slay. So we'll see kind of how his involvement is. TJ Hawkinson will probably see double coverage. But again, I do like Swift a lot. I love the chase call. I'm curious to see what happens with Pittsburgh and Cleveland because we don't really know what the status of Cleveland's players are right now. We don't know if they're just going to play or not. Then
Nick
there's Odell.
Chubb.
We don't know
I
if
don't
he's
know
going to
if- I
play.
don't know
Nick
if
Chubb,
Chubb's
Kareem
playing.
Hunt. We don't know the status of anybody's calf injuries, anybody's shoulder injuries. So I don't want to go that way. But Pittsburgh, this could be a get-right game for them against a pretty good opponent. I'm curious to see how they play and how those props play out. I maybe go after some Deontay Johnson, but I want to see it play out one more game and then probably hit it next week.
This dude, Evan, just sent me a damn trade. Kyle Pitts for Patrick Mahomes in a 14-team Superflex league. Get the hell out of here, Evan. No way. Get the hell out of here. All right, secret prop. I love this. Stone, you may have just created a new segment for the show. Jamal Agnew. Listen, he's getting like 5, 6, 7 targets a game. Sleeper still has listed as a damn DB. Jamal Agnew. I kind of like it. Couple of other props real quick that I like. Taylor Heineke rushing yards. I like that. I like Tua's rushing yards versus Buffalo. I know we didn't talk Buffalo versus Miami, but PrizePicks has Tua at 10 rushing yards. Tua is a sneaky runner, man. He is sneaky.
He's sneaky fast.
See, he's got some color to his skin, so I can say that and not be accused of
But
using
take the Bills
terms.
to cover, please.
I like the Bills to
because
cover,
they're
but
gonna
I
get
do like Tua
crushed.
over 10 rushing yards. I'm telling you, I like Tua over 10. Tua over 10. Tank for Tua over 10. But Jamal Agnew, and Dale says he loves that. Hell yes, don't. Hey, this was a good Friday show. This was a good clap it up for the audience hanging in there
The
with
audience
us.
was
Evan's
killing.
at the airport sending me shitty trade offers. Dale is hitting this. Dale, we need your picks every week. You're doing pretty. I need to know your strategy, man. You're doing really good. Stone coming in here with the new segments. Jay, good show, good week. I hope you have a profitable weekend, my friend. I don't want to talk to you over the weekend. I'll see you on Monday. I'm sick of looking at you 5 days a week. We're over 5 minutes over the show. I love you, man. You know, I'm just messing with you, baby.
Thank you, man. But a great show.
Good trade.
Man, the
Great,
chat.
great.
Thank you,
Chat?
man. You
Yeah.
guys killed it this week.
Yeah,
Killed
y'all
it.
killed it. Yeah, we're out though. Subscribe, tap in, wake up. We'll see y'all on Monday. Peace.